Have you ever felt weak? Overwhelmed by a challenge that just won't go away? We are often taught to hide our weaknesses, to present a facade of strength at all costs. But what if our greatest moments of strength were born in our moments of weakness? There's a profound truth that says, when you're weak, grace wins. This isn't just a catchy phrase. It's a divine principle, a secret to a strength that doesn't come from us. It comes from above. This secret is beautifully captured in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 9. The Apostle Paul, a giant of the faith, shares a deeply personal struggle. He pleaded with God, not once but 3 times, to remove a thorn in his flesh, a persistent, painful affliction. We don't know what it was, but we all have our own thorns, don't we? A chronic illness, a painful memory, a relentless temptation, a deep-seated insecurity. We all have something we wish God would just take away. But God's answer to Paul was not what he expected. God did not remove the thorn. Instead, he gave him a promise. He said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Let's break that down. My grace is sufficient for you. Grace is God's unearned, undeserved favor. It's His divine assistance, His love in action. God was telling Paul, you don't need the situation to change. My presence, my help, my favor, it's more than enough to see you through. It's a sufficiency that isn't dependent on our circumstances. In our emptiness, His grace fills. In our inadequacy, His grace is enough. Then comes the most startling part of the promise. For my power is made perfect in weakness. Not in spite of weakness, but in weakness. How can this be? Imagine a stained glass window. In the bright light of day, you can see the design, but it's when the room is dark inside that the light shining through the window reveals its true, breathtaking beauty. The colors explode. The patterns come alive. Our weaknesses are like that window. They are the very places where God's power, His light, can shine through most brilliantly, creating a masterpiece that points not to us, but to Him. When we are self-reliant, we get in the way. But when we are weak, we become a canvas for His strength. Paul's response to this revelation is revolutionary. It turns human logic on its head. He says, "Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me." Boast about weakness? The world tells us to boast about our achievements, our talents, our strength. But Paul discovered that embracing his limitations was the key to experiencing unlimited power. By admitting, "I can't," he opened the door for God to say, "I can." He found that his weakness was not a liability but an asset, the very condition necessary for the power of Christ to take up residence in his life. This is why he continues, "That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong." He wasn't a masochist, he didn't enjoy pain, but he delighted in what that pain produced. A deeper reliance on God and a greater display of His power. What is your thorn in the flesh today? What is the area of your life where you feel most defeated, most helpless? Stop seeing it as a sign of failure. Start seeing it as an invitation to experience a grace that is always sufficient, an invitation to become a showcase for a power that is perfected in weakness. Surrender your struggle, acknowledge your need, and watch as His strength becomes your own. Because the truth remains, now and forever. When you are weak, that is when His grace wins.